Hello YouTube, I'm Petri. It's the day after Halloween and I'm in historic Salem, Massachusetts. Let's take a walk. This is historic for a number of reasons. One reason is obviously the witch trials, the mass hysteria of the witch trials. And the Common was a place of all sorts of nastiness, including witch burnings, pressing, which involved crushing of people under weights of stones to extract confessions. And it was also the birthplace of the National Guard, a not commonly known fact. But in the 1600s, the National Guard's first muster was held on the Salem Common. In fact, back in those days, Salem was one of the largest cities in the United States. And it was a major point of spice trade for the United States, at least, and whaling. And as you can see here on this street, I think this is Hawthorne Boulevard, named after Nathaniel Hawthorne. There are lots of nice old captain's houses. Absolutely beautiful. And as you can see down there, there's a lot of leftover stuff from last night's celebrations, last night being Halloween. And here is yet another lovely panorama of historic Salem. Now, down that street is what in England they would refer to as the Mews, which was, streets where stables were for the big houses and servants would live and so forth. Okay, here's some ghoulishness. And we're still pretty close to the Salem Common. It's right over there. And here's the Hawthorne Hotel. I'm not sure if this was actually the place of the actual witch trials, but it does give one a feel. It may have been built later, but it does give it a feel for what a room in Puritan New England may have looked like. A room being a sort of auditorium, a courtroom, that sort of thing. You can imagine 13-year-old girls who were lacking drama, recreational drama in their lifetimes, Puritan life, who may have decided to sort of wind this up to make their lives interesting, wind up society, wind up everyone around them. And it would have been on performance in this stage here. Better to be in America's Top Model, perhaps, than on stage when people's lives may be in jeopardy. Just my view. Okay, so now we're taking a drive around the park. Park on the left. Historic buildings on the right. A little bumpy here. Not always the best paved roads. Sort of an upscale neighborhood. Oops. Gonna take a left. It's not exactly legal driving while filming on YouTube, so I have to have care, especially when police are involved. So, beautiful time of year up in Salem, I would say. Seeing I'm really out of Cape Cod and Connecticut, so this is up. Versus Maine, which is down Maine. So I'm here this time because I really had trouble getting here last night. I was thinking, oh, well, it could be great. Why don't I go to, Salem and film on Halloween? And of course, I think, according to media estimates, 50,000 other people had the exact same idea. So that wasn't particularly brilliant. So instead I came today. And finally we come to the Rebecca Nurse Homestead, which is in what was once Salem Village. Now it's known as Danvers, Massachusetts. Rebecca Nurse was executed in the late 1600s at age 71 for being a witch. The reasons for her execution were tenuous at best. It really fed into the mass hysteria of the time, and a system that was less based on facts and more based on what people wanted to believe, perhaps. At least that's my interpretation. A lot of the evidence centered around unexplained passages that Rebecca made at odd hours of the evening over the marshlands here. Not sure if you can see them, but in this area, because it's near the ocean, there's a lot of low-lying ground. And that ground, especially now, between, say, September and November, gets kind of a lot of low fog. In the low fog, if someone is running across it certain times of the night, it makes them actually look like they're flying. And if they're carrying a walking stick or whatever, they might be seen to be riding a broom. Something supernatural, and the supernatural is powers only the evil possess and witches possess. So, everything kind of came together. That wasn't exactly due process at the witch trials. There was little regard for human suffering. It creates an attraction. You can see here, there's a parking lot of cars, and today it's nothing. I mean, there were literally hundreds and hundreds of people here yesterday at this little cute homestead. So this concludes the tour of Salem on a day where a dark, foreboding sky looms above. Perfect images of what this area is like now and what it was back then. Beautifully preserved by people who care about history in Massachusetts.